I think we're in a really fortunate place in the UK where I don't think there are that many barriers for women to get into consultancy, um, particularly if you're coming out of university as a graduate. I think the opportunities are far and wide. Actually, I think there's a lot of opportunities to get involved in consultancy. I think if I was to give advice to women about getting into this profession, I think you have to have grit. I think you have to be prepared to work really hard. I think you have to be prepared to work with challenging men and challenging women, actually, in the businesses that you work with.
I wanted to do a year's travelling between school and university, but my year was the last year that the fees were on the lower price, so it would have been the most expensive year in the world. Otherwise, the only thing that I've really had to miss out on for my career is sort of the occasional Friday night social drinks where I'm travelling for work and I don't get home until 9 p.m. But it's all worth it because I get to work on some great projects with some really interesting clients.
So a very wise person once told me that a strong man will never be intimidated by a strong woman. That's the motto that I live by, and I work with some very strong men and have some really good relationships with them. And I've never had any intimidation of success with those individuals. However, I do think that some people do experience intimidation by men due to their success, but I think it's something that you just have to ignore and not take any notice of.
Yeah, I have a family with young children. So I've got 3 kids, boy, a girl, and a little baby boy, and a puppy dog as well. And I think a really key thing about finding a good work-life balance is working for a company where you're treated like an adult and you can make your own decisions about where you work, when you work and how you work. So I've definitely got that in the company that I work for at the moment. So we set up our own diaries, and I think that's really important because you need something that works around you and your life and something that you are happy to commit to and feel like it's something that's manageable in the long term.
I don't know whether compare is the right word, but someone who I would wish to emulate would be J.K. Rowling. So she's created an entire world with her work and has shaped an entire generation of young people. She gives so much back to charity, and throughout the millions and billions that she has made, she has stayed really grounded, I think, and true to her morals. So that would be someone that I would like to compare myself to one day, I suppose.
I'd say my best trait is most likely my interpersonal skills. I'm a very outgoing and bubbly character and really enjoy my job because I get to work with a number of different people and a range of stakeholders, and I really enjoy building new relationships with people.
I really want to stay working in business. I want to get to a position in the company where I've got influence over the direction of the company, where I get to manage and lead forward-thinking and ambitious people. But ultimately, I think in 10 years, I still want to be challenged every day that I go into work.
Emma Watson, the Queen, Marie Curie, Dame Maggie Smith, and Ruth Jones.
If I had to give advice to a woman trying to get into my field of work, I would say you need to be flexible, adaptable, and to be able to work with change. So in this role, things change pretty quick, so you can have a plan and then suddenly that might change. I think also you need to think about whether you're willing to work away from home sometimes, because that is part of the role. But I think In terms of flexibility, I've found being a management consultant to be something that is flexible, and also something where you get masses of variety, and you also get the opportunity to really have influence and to make an impact and to do something that's very valuable.
International Women's Day serves as a reminder that actually not all women are in the same fortunate position as what we are in kind of the Western world to a certain degree, and I think it's important that we reflect and we think about the fact that there are women across the world that don't have basic human rights, who live in sort of terrible conditions and don't have the opportunities that they should do. I think that it's right that we sort of go out and we raise awareness of that, and we put a spotlight on the fact that inequality is still rife across the world, and that we should be seen to be sort of encouraging governments and politicians and people in power to actually do something about it.